From the News Channel 5 Network, this is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Channel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. The old saying is, March comes in like a lion. That certainly was true this week here in Nashville, in several parts of town, as well as 3 surrounding counties, as a series of tornadoes inflicted serious damage, and tragically with the loss of life of 25 lives, 25 people with dozens injured and others missing for some time. This week on Inside Politics, we look back on that horrible day and ahead to the recovery already underway. Our guests are 2 Metro Council members whose districts suffered significant damage. They are 19th District Councilman Freddie O'Connell, who represents the Germantown area and parts of downtown, and 21st District Councilman Brandon Taylor from North Nashville and the Tennessee State University campus. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us at the end of what has been a very difficult week for Nashville, Middle Tennessee, for all of us.
Yeah, and I know, Pat, we were going to be joined by our colleague Kevin Roten, but he got called away suddenly. He's, that Donaldson Hermitage corridor also took a heavy hit.
At this point, for both of you, recovery is underway. Are we making good progress at this point? Are you disappointed of anything that we're not doing so far?
No, very pleased. We've had an overwhelming outpouring of support from the community members here in Nashville. We've had volunteers throughout the entire city working to get people back in order. So
you have 20,000 volunteers coming out from Hands On Nashville this weekend?
It's amazing. I think that, Pat, I'd rate it as mixed, right? Some things you find in a crisis are just in short supply, right? And so we've had, one of the hardest parts about this for our communities has been the extended power outage, right? Especially in areas that are already food deserts where there's limited access to cars, and we don't have a considerable transit system. So that power outage the sustained power outage has been its own issue. We've also, as a result of that, had several road closures that have in some cases made it very difficult for volunteers to get to the places where help is most needed.
Councilman Taylor, there's been a feeling in the community, particularly in your area, your district, North Nashville, that North Nashville has been left out before when we had other recoveries from natural disasters. Right. Is it different this time?
We've made some steps to make it different, and with the history of the flood specifically, we've had individuals that had a great understanding of how to organize quickly, and a lot of the organization came from within the community. Right. As Freddie mentioned, we've had some road blockages, not only for with cars and people, but we've had road blockages with street light poles and different things, trees, etc., debris, and so no one could really just get in. So we had to really power together as a community and work together. We've been staging everything at State Representative Love's church, Lee Chapel, AME Church in North Nashville, Magruder Center, Dr. Judy Cummings at New Covenant Christian Church. We've had several organizations, several churches that have band together to make sure that we can move forward.
It appears that we have a lot of damage all over the place in the areas that were hit. Are we talking in many cases about total losses? Are we talking about situations where we're going to rebuild? Or are you going to have some permanent changes where things are not going to come back?
So in North Nashville specifically, we're going to have several homes that will never come back, that will have to be completely rebuilt. We're going to have a few major damages in homes that can be repaired and renovated, but overall, we have a lot of personal property, mostly residential property, is where we were hit the hardest.
And
we
in
had
that regard,
churches too. So
in that regard, the council adopted a late resolution basically decrying what they're already beginning to see, they say, of predatory lending practices going on out there. Councilman, did you see people out in your area that didn't live in that area but were bringing cameras, sort of driving by, taking pictures of destroyed houses and making offers for people to buy their homes as they were?
So we've had an overwhelming amount of individuals in the area. I've heard reports of individuals being offered for their homes to be bought. So there's one area that we wanted to get behind. That's why we passed the resolution last night to really get in front of this to let the community know that we're behind them and we want to support them.
But to be clear, there's not much you can do about that other than a resolution expressing your concern about that. There are no laws on the books in Metro or in the state to do anything about it.
We can't, in a regulatory sense, do much, but the Equity Alliance and others have kind of gotten together, and they are doing some events through the weekend and into Monday, kind of helping educate homeowners that, hey, you don't have to sell. Because one of the things that happens here, Pat, is if you are a low-income resident, maybe you've owned your home, but you still have some debt on it, or any kind of financial burden, and now you've experienced a sudden loss of property, you don't necessarily know all your options with insurance or flood and disaster relief and all that kind of stuff.
The president has approved the paperwork to bring money down here. Your message to him as he comes to Tennessee today is get that money here as soon as possible, just for some of the reasons we're talking about? Exactly.
We need the support. We need the financial support. We not only need financial support, but the support that everyone's been giving us. For instance, Freddie mentioned the Equity Alliance from 3 to 5 on Sunday. They're going to be canvassing neighborhoods to let people know that there's resources, so to not sell, to not make any decisions immediately right now.
And Freddie, a lot of people think about the Germantown area that you represent as an area now with a lot of restaurants, a lot of nightlife and things like that. But you say the major damage more in your area is more to the new infill residential and the old historic homes there.
Yeah, we've had several just gorgeous homes in Germantown and buildings that house new businesses that have been destroyed. Most of the sort of interior to the neighborhood commerce has actually been okay. We've had large multifamily apartments. Some of those new took sustained damage, and I've heard as of yesterday, some folks might be out of their buildings for months, right? Which is also difficult. But I think if you look at the places that have put Germantown, for instance, on the culinary map, City House looked okay. Rolf and Daughter, some of these areas, those areas seem to be okay. But it tore through a commercial sector. Roselle Parks, the Kroger has been offline for several days, but that AutoZone, that O'Reilly Auto Parts, I mean, those buildings are gone.
Councilman Taylor, in your area, you're already beginning to see gentrification going on. Are you concerned this tornado is going to tip the scales even further in that direction?
Indeed, I'm highly concerned. I'm highly concerned because there's a subset of individuals in our community that don't own their property. And we have individuals that rent. And so what we're trying to do, what I'm personally trying to do now, is communicate with the landlords or connect with the landlords of those properties to create a plan for them so we can get those families back into their homes, so we can keep the fabric of that community together.
Councilman Brandon Taylor and Councilman Freddie O'Connell are with us today. We're talking about the aftermath of the tornadoes this week, what's happening in Nashville and across the state. Back to continue our conversation after this break.